A new and promising Viking city builder now has a new demo. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to our first look at Land of the Vikings, a big update to a demo you may have seen before on the channel. The developers posted that they were launching a new demo between the 22nd of September to the 26th of September, and apparently has some new features and never before seen things that we did not cover in our previous episodes and live streams. Well, this game may be coming to Steam's next event as well, so if you didn't get in before the 26th, you might be able to try this one out sometime soon. So if you're interested, make sure you add it to your wish list, and that goes for any Steam game too. Anytime a Steam game gets a demo, typically if you have it added to your wish list, you may be notified. So it's a good rule of thumb. Make sure that you do that. Well, thanks again for subscribing to the channel. Glory to RAPTORIA down below in that comment section. Let's go. And thank you again for leaving all the likes and becoming members too. Really helps out the channel, and it's awesome to have your support. So thank you very much. Well, let's go ahead and jump into making our very own Viking clan. And we'll start a new game here today as we get to also choose the name of our settlement and also the look of our ship. Well, first and foremost, it looks like there's a difference in the map that we can play in. Green Bay, as where before it was simply in Scandinavia. I guess now we're going to Wisconsin. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a whole different map, though. And as you can see, there's lots of different minerals out there for us to mine and lots of trees to cut down. So let's just go ahead and go with a... Oh, right. One of the coolest things, though, is making our own clan. I believe the last time we played, we went as the Deer Clan, something like this. But this time, let's go with something like a Bird Clan or Wolf Clan. Ah, this looks too cool. All right, let's go ahead and make our banner black and the bird white. That looks cool. And let's go ahead and shrink down the size of the bird. There we go. Well, that's pretty good. And it looks great on the ship, too, so that looks good to me. Maybe a little bigger. There we go. Okay, let's go back. Name our village of RAPTORIA. And we should be good to go. Also, it's, I think, locked to normal, yeah. And also fresh start. I'm not exactly sure what that is, so we'll leave that on. So the difficulty just keeps the work speed, resources, fame, and happiness somewhere around more realistic numbers, I suppose. And we cannot change the thing there. But it does say that the map size is big, resources are normal, and the distance is nearby. All right, let's go ahead and start our game. Let's go. Here we are again. Tutorial beginning. Welcome to your village. You can learn how to develop and manage your village by following this tutorial. Right, so at the bottom is all the controls for building and ordering the cutting down of trees. Essentially, the game works like it does in Banished or many other games where you can click and drag to order things like rocks to be mined, trees to be cut down, and resources like berries or whatnot to be gathered by hand. I remember a lot of this here, so I'll just leave it on the screen for just a moment or two, but there might be some new features here that they've added for this demo, so we'll kind of just take a little peek to see if anything else has changed. It's also highly recommended to build roads first, as people's happiness is also dependent on whether or not you built roads to other parts of your settlement. Typically, it's the best to build it inside the village, but you don't really need to do it too far outside the village. All right, let's go ahead and pause and take a look at the map here and see if it's much different than before. Oh, yeah, it is very much different. Very nice. We have a little bit of a, like they said here, a bay in order to build in. Very cool. The map is quite large. As they say, it is a big map, so from the previous look, it was a very large fjord. And this time seems to be more like a series of smaller inlets and lakes that are a little bit more almost like being on a river, but of course lead out to the ocean. Now we can do Viking raids in this game, so we can build the long ships and other boats and things like that and go out here to fish. And then also, of course, traders can come in, and we can also send out Viking raids too. So a lot of boat traffic will come through this area. This looks great. One of the things I wanted to see more of last time was the developers adding more realistic-looking shoreline. Before it kind of looked a lot of straight edges and lines like this, for example. However, here I'm assuming this is supposed to be more of a mineral mine, but the shorelines used to look more like this, and now they look like that. So that's a very good improvement, and looks a lot more promising there for what could be a much more diverse and rich environment. Sand, grass, lots of stone there for the cliffs. Very good. Very good indeed. Okay, let's see what else might be around us. Now, it looks like there might be a way to cross the river here. So that's good. We should have the option to build bridges as well over any sort of river, although this is kind of more of a larger bay or whatnot, so I guess that's what separates this bay from being a massive river. Up there is just this open land area. Good. Well, the landscape looks absolutely beautiful. I'm very impressed with that. much more, I think, diverse than before, and I am happy to see that. But you can still see a lot of straight lines and things. But this just implies that it's a great area to build a road, and we could build more of our settlement over here too. So we could build multiple settlements and connect them together. Technically, we could build like a marketplace here and some more houses or whatnot and connect them that way. Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Then we'll return to the city. Now, let's see. We're 3 days in. We've got ourselves things up here like wood, timber, stone, dressed stone, silver, and meals, so that's unchanged from before. We're going to go ahead and do as they say in the instructions, then we'll order a tree cutting. So as it shows here, yeah, we can basically paint the ground in order to give the order to cut down trees. Now, in one of our live streams recently, we kind of found out that it was just much nicer to cut trees away from the village, as also it seems, although I can't really prove this yet, that trees grow by or back faster by other trees. So if you leave a few trees uncut, it seems like it spawns newer trees near them, and thus they can regrow a lot faster. But it also looks nice, so I don't want to cut everything down. Additionally, cutting down trees does remove the landscape for foraging. So, for example, these berries here and herbs and things like that for medicine could be killed or a lot less plentiful if we cut down too many trees. So, worst case scenario, we'll probably build our, actually, now that I think of it, I think we want to undo that. But I'll figure out how to do that a little bit later. Okay, well, now we've ordered some trees to be cut down. Let's go ahead and start ordering some stone to be cut, and that should complete that goal right there. All right. Now, we also have religion and other things to worry about that increase our fame and or the diversity between the people, like their happiness. The more, I guess, gods that we appease or the more things that we do, the happier our people will be. Go ahead and assign somebody to work here at the... Oh, great. Another thing about this game, too, I thought was wonderful, is the fact that different skills apply to different jobs. So somebody who works in a herbalist hut will probably need to be more intelligent, and somebody who works in a logging camp probably needs to be more strong. So if we go ahead and click on the fist here, we can actually get people who are more strong, and thus more productivity for the job. So our carpenter will fire up here, and we'll activate working in the carpenter building. Now, we'll probably turn that off a few times, as planks can be made very quickly by people in the city. So, all right, let's see if there's a way to deselect. Does it tell us here? So we can hit Control and left click. Controls are on the left side of the screen at the bottom for deselecting something if we don't want to cut it down. That's good. There's animal husbandry in the game too, so cows and chickens and goats and, I don't know, pigs and other things that might be walking around can be tamed and put into coops and barns and pens and things like that. So that's pretty cool. We have to build a marketplace now, a builder, and a marketeer. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, any new buildings? We have a few poorhouses, herbalist huts, totems for Thor, Freya, Odin, and Tyr. Good houses. Higher quality houses that use less wood. So it's like Banished in that sense, where the higher quality homes consume less firewood. Thus, you can have more homes without inefficient use of heat or wood for creating the heat. I don't see any sort of storage in the game. Before, they would start us with wood and stone storage, and it looks like that is not next to the camp this time. Could be somewhere else, but I don't see it at the moment. So we'll probably have to build that. Let's go ahead and build the marketplace. So we can plop that down and rotate too. And I think after we plop this, we'll probably do a road system. So if we hold Z or the Z key, we can then rotate that way by moving the mouse. So pretty fine controls to do that. Also, another great thing about this game that I thought was phenomenal is decorations. Decorations in this game actually add a lot of bonus. So, for example, four barrels can increase storage space of some buildings. So we could put it near a windmill, for example, increase our flour storage, which it just kind of increases everything overall. Now, things like fire pits and barrels will make it so we can see as the player later in the day, but there is actually something to do with military training this way. As you can see here in the upper right corner, we have defense of the city is at 0, but simply by adding some shields or some target boards or weapon racks, that just increases the defense. So we can have a few soldiers, but if we imply that we're also training them and decorating our map with it, decorations aren't just something as an added expense just to make things look cool or to make them look cute. They actually have some sort of application to them. Same with the scarecrow too, and I think that might be new as well, or at least this system to organize it looks new to me, where things are a little bit better organized for whether or not it's storage, which, of course, building a wood cart next to the carpenter would increase that storage, and so on and so forth. Okay, well, we're building a marketplace. We need to assign a builder. So there are jobs here, just like it is in... let's see, how do we do this? There's all of our villagers. And then we can see if they're happy, sleepy, hungry. And there should be a way to also check their professions under management. There we are. Alright, so just like Banished here, the ability to assign a couple of builders. Now, it does get rather dark in this game. I think I'd like to see it be a little bit brighter during the nighttime. I know it's contradictory to, you know, it being nighttime. But as a city builder, oftentimes some games get a little too dark and kind of prohibits you from building as much as you'd like to. Roads also cost silver, so we need to be a little careful about building too many roads too quickly. But I think by starting an initial road through the town, where we can build kind of like this, will benefit us that way. A couple of homes already built from the start, too, which isn't that bad. But I think I saw some of you saying that you would like to be able to build your village wherever you want, and I completely agree with that because there are plenty of spots on the map to be able to build. I think the spot in which we're settled right now is probably the coolest, with the little easily defendable bay against invaders who can pull up directly to the village, but of course nothing will stop people from landing over there and just walking through the forest to us. But it certainly is the most picturesque location. It looks super cool. Very, very cool. All right, let's build some roads for the side of the market as well. And we'll probably connect to here. Now, one thing I do like to do is put the marketplace and any of the civilian buildings or civic buildings in the middle, so things like Herbalist Hut or storage or the marketplace in the middle, too. Looks great, though. I like how the ground looks. I like how the detail of the grass looks as well. Far away, it looks like nothing. It looks like it's just spray painted and doesn't have any detail. But up close, you can see small flowers, bushes, berries, and of course our people can also clear rocks and things like that too from the landscape. So even though that looks cool, we can also remove it. Another great thing about this game too is that they do start us with a couple of boats. You may have noticed these over here earlier. These boats can actually be used for fishing. It implies that that's kind of how we maybe arrived at this location, or they're just giving it to us for free. But essentially, I like to think that a few scouts came out, said it was all clear and a great spot to build. Everybody showed up, started building buildings, and now we're kind of somewhere in the middle of the first year as they arrived early spring to build all these structures, including the longhouse. I think the longhouse also provides some sort of housing for new people, too. They prefer to have their own individual homes, but I think if you don't have additional room for people, they will go into the longhouse. At least that's what I can remember from last time. Looks like there's a few logs sitting on the ground, so those will need to be transported. Yep, and that lady there just picked that one up. Nice. That's a strong Raptorian right there. Good job, ma'am. Now, she'll bring that all the way back to the camp where we're doing the construction here, but eventually we will need to build the storage structures I had mentioned earlier. But we'll kind of do things a little bit in order of what they're implying, just to see if there's any sort of change to things. Like, for example, maybe the longhouse now has some sort of storage. We can't really click on it, which is unfortunate, but one cool thing that I do like is the buildings actually, you can see lighting shining between those logs and such. So it implies that it's not great of a home for keeping in the warmth. And so the nicer the home, you'll see it start to be built of more stone and sturdier materials than just logs. It'll be planks and some other things. But a good-looking house. Ventilation there. And all the houses. I think a great thing about this game, too, is I love it anytime that developers put in a chimney for any structure and all the smoke blows in the same direction at the same time, really implying that there's some nice breeze coming through. It adds to the immersion, really, with a very subtle hint at there being an atmosphere. All right, well, many more trees ordered to be cut down. That's going to be an absolute necessity. And same with the stone, too. So after we build the marketplace, it's probably going to be necessary to build a few other things to store goods for them, like a warehouse. There should be the entrance here, but it won't snap to it. So it looks like we have to wait until a building is constructed before we can fully connect with it. I wonder if there's a way to see anybody's happiness now through just general thought. Let's see. We have no messages from the citizens. Everybody's happiness is decreasing, but it does take a little while for happiness to increase until we've got things like an inn or a bar or whatnot. There is some more buildings here we didn't cover. We have wells, gardening, or rather gathering huts and hunting as well. Chicken coops and goat ranches. We have windmills, stone cutters, breweries, stone pits, tailors. Very nice. Mines as well. A lot of the things I'd seen before. and a better organization of sea and military level stuff. So it looks like now they've put shipyards, trade docks, and war docks under sea, and military is just strictly under training camp. However, the war dock is obviously a military building too, since it'll build those long ships. But we can build trading ships, and I think the shipyard might also make ships for the fishing hut. Actually, the shipyard makes ships for the trade dock and the war dock. So troops can store all their goods and things at the war dock and board warships from there. The trading dock can then do commerce and store some things there too. Plus, we can build things around it to make it look more immersive that way. And the fishing hut will require the shipyard to make more boats other than the 2 that we just saw. All right, that's good. They've actually made a nice floor. Is that different? No, I think that's about the same. Oh man, I was hoping that they'd make some sort of a detail adjustment to that. It's okay though. Looks nice. And it's just some simple planks. I was hoping that they would make a little bit more improvement to that. Or at least change it a little bit. Okay, we've made plenty of timber now. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the carpenter for now, because that can be a real crazy amount of timber that gets produced there. They need 48, so never mind, I'm going to put them back. Sorry, ma'am, you're rehired. Sorry. It's my first day as a Jarl again. It's been a little while, at least in this demo. Alright, looks like the nighttime lasts rather quickly. Let's beat up then, since we're doing quite well so far. We're going to assign a marketeer or marketer as soon as the marketplace is complete. You can do that early, but obviously the building doesn't function without it being complete, so there's no real reason to do that. And we've got, let's see, 94 silver. So we don't want to go crazy with road building. We'll need silver for certain things in the future. We don't want to go too crazy. I think we'll add a couple more builders. Now, I can't recall who's in charge of bringing materials back to the camp, but let's go ahead and increase the number of people working as builders for now. Let's go up to 6 and see how that affects things. We have a list of our buildings so we can see how much we've made and who's working there. We have ships that we have gotten for free. And we also have resources, so these are things in our storage. So in addition to the resources listed at the top, there's things like different types of armor and clothing. There's also fabric, wool, and leather to make those different types of armor, including weapon parts and iron tools. We've got ul, otherwise known as beer, meat, yogilashet, fruits, vegetables, fisk, white meat and bread, iron, coal, grain, stone, barley. A lot of these are the same as before. Things to make bread, things to make beer. All important in a Viking life. Okay, the jobs, let's see, we've got quite a few. We've got people who can go out on expeditions, herbalists, millers, hunters, gatherers, people who work as taking care of the chickens. I don't see anybody to take care of cows, but we might not be able to domesticate them just yet. There could be more things added to the game. Keep in mind, it's just a demo, so the amount of buildings that we see are rather limited and or could be increased in the future through either A, research, or B, additions to the game over time. Alright, I can hear more mining going on. I can hear more trees being cut down too. Trees will regrow pretty quickly in the game as well, but not fast enough to where you can constantly cut them down within like a day or two. And there is, I believe, a forestry building, I think, that will help to regrow trees. If not, they do regrow fast enough to where we eventually probably have to build a road here to constantly cut down the biggest, most mature trees. Although we can't see what their output is by clicking on them, unfortunately. It would be nice to see how much they'll produce. Okay, let's go up to even higher speed now. I want to get this marketplace done. We have to have 3 wood, 20 stone, and 32 timber. So we'll need to add on to that. So it looks like they're asking for a lot more production of timber. Luckily, we've got plenty of stone, which will eventually be used too. All right, and now we can hire a marketer. Let's go ahead and have somebody work at the market. I feel like they need to be fast. Yeah, because they got to go grab stuff and be fast on their feet. So this is where we can sell fish and bread. Looks like it's mostly food. All right, new objective to decorate the village. That'll add, of course, some storage for us. So let's go ahead and add maybe... Oh, we'll add some grand torches. Just so we can actually see the marketplace at night. Don't want to get too crazy with things. We'll add a little bit here and there. Alright, let's add a stack of 4 barrels if we can. There we go. And they want us to add 10 decorations, so we can get a little crazy with it. Pretty cool that we can customize and that it actually means something. So doing this is not just like a cool effect. I just love how it actually does something more than that. We can make a log pile or maybe like a little wood stand over here for the carpenter. Go ahead and add that in a pile of wood maybe. Oh wow. You can actually see the logs that they're storing stack up at the end too. Very nice. And maybe we can put an empty cart at the end as if they'll transport those logs later on. Cool. Alright, still a few more things to add. Nice thing about the wooden sign too is it increases walking conditions or walking speed. Very cool that way. And there's also walls that we can build that way too. So if you want to increase your defenses, you can build a wall around the city, although it works more decoration like. I feel like it should be a click and drag thing in the future. I don't mind the option to build walls around certain buildings. Like if you built a barracks and wanted to put a wall around it, that square, that would be cool. But walls, I think, should be more free built and curved, or, you know, like a smooth placement of clicking and dragging, or clicking end nodes for a wall to be placed, and then eventually it being built over time. All right, now we got to work on food. So let's go for food. Gatherer hut needs to be put down. Right around here would be great. 62% is good. We want higher than that if we can. Oh, 100% productivity outside of town. Well, that's great. We'll have to not build over here then. That's good. It's somewhere near the town. But also kind of away from the town, too, to where we can build a road. Alright, the builders will work on that. I guess we'll go ahead and cut down a couple more trees. There we are. Order a few more rocks to be mined up too. That's going to be a constant mining stone, so we may as well just order that to constantly be done, especially near the village. Anything like that is easy to obtain. Very easy to obtain. Okay, let's go ahead and speed up. People might be going home for now. Now, eventually our population will increase in events such as in Frostpunk, or many of the other RPG city builders where you're playing a role of kind of more of an important person who's making decisions, not just hey, build buildings, but also like how it is in Surviving the Aftermath, where eventually something will pop up saying a shipwreck was discovered and there were survivors. Do you want them to join us, yes or no? Or there's refugees from another city that was attacked or whatnot. Do you want to accept them? The population will also grow, of course, by natural birth, but that takes a while. Alright, let's see. I want to build another house, I think. And I believe we can also put these homes on pause. Now, previously, in other playthroughs, I did build the nicer quality homes, but they take quite a bit longer to build, and since we'll only be building for a year, it's not really pertinent to get everything done perfectly, because people will never be able to experience it for too long, really. So we'll just go ahead and order another house to be built, to which we can pause, and we can add priority, too. So let's go ahead and make the gathering hut a little higher priority. Alright, so the 6 builders are actually paying off quite a bit. It looks like the builders are the ones who are carrying things over. Ulf here has a hammer next to his name. Is it his birthday? Oh, I thought it was his birthday today. 44 years old. Wow, they made cake back then? Smorgastorta, maybe. Also, the villagers have traits, things like being a coward, athletic, and a worker. So every one of the workers have a different trait that can definitely benefit. Intelligence. Builder. Transports materials to building sites and constructs buildings. Okay. That'll be much more beneficial to us to add a few more workers, although the unassigned laborers are still cutting down trees, so that's probably a good thing to continuously pump out logs. Timber is used really quickly, so I guess we don't need to unassign our friend to that. Trying to cut down as few trees as possible. You want things to definitely look good. That's why the decorations are here, to make things look very nice. To add a little flair and humanity to what would otherwise be an abandoned village. Of just empty homes and, you know, maybe small little structures nearby. But we get to actually build these things ourselves, which is cool. We could put like a little fence around the... Man, I have so many ideas putting a fence there. It'd be cool if we could build little gardens behind the Vikings' homes, although they do seem to gather their own things sometimes too. They've got crates out front, lots of lanterns and things. Oh, and look at all the ruins etched in there. All those different types of decorations and writings. Actually, some of the buildings will have runes on them, including the totem poles. So that's cool to see too. Alright, the Gatherer's Hut's almost done. I think I'll build a road there. Hopefully that doesn't affect the productivity of it. Wait, let's assign a worker right away. Probably intelligence here? Yeah, exactly. And food's very important, so let's assign 2 people to that. That's our only food source so far. I don't think we can give orders for people to go gather berries. Okay, we'll go ahead and build like that. There we go. Okay, very cool. Gather your first fruit. Good. I think that not only requires us to go out and gather the fruits, but I think we also need to bring it to the marketplace to consider it to be ready for, well, I guess gathered with a D. Okay, that's done. Now we can also safety pin. Wow, usually you see like the thumbtack pin. These guys went for the safety pin. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Oh. Somebody sleeping outside? No, he's just sleepy. Alright, we'll build a house next. I think it's a good idea to build another house, even if it doesn't say that. But now let's pause. Because I believe it'll be a goal eventually to build another house. So we'll just wait until it's almost done. We'll cheat that way. I'm a cheater. Or big brain, I suppose. An exploit. Look at how cool the Gatherer's Hut looks too. You can see all sorts of different flowers and fruits, herbs, some other buckets and barrels full of stuff. Things are drying or just being stored outside. Nice looking building. And I love the nighttime effects too for seeing the light shine between the gaps in the wood. Very nice. Same even with the longhouse too. A few areas you can see that are a little less structurally sound, I suppose. Oh, interestingly enough, it went with a different logo on the outside of our longhouse, although I don't know if it's actual standard to have the Yggdrasil on the outside like that. Be cool if we could... Oh, wow, there's like a... Whoa, that's interesting. A crying like lamb? That is a massive creature right there. Wow. Be cool if we could customize that. Be able to change the design of our longhouse. Now, I hope in the future, I'm not sure what their plans are, but it would be great to be able to make this structure upgradable. Maybe being able to hold feasts here or store things like beer and other things for large festivals and whatnot. And be able to have everybody come in to raise their happiness and celebrate midsummer or winter festivals and whatnot, and gather some more materials here. It'd be cool if that had some sort of storage, just light storage and housing for the start. That way you could focus more on gathering materials. I'm going to go full speed. We just need our first fruit to be gathered, and I don't think our people will work at nighttime, so let's keep going. Gonna gather some more wood there. Always gonna need more. Okay. I think we'll ask for a few more trees to be gathered here. Alright, now they want us to build an herbalist hut and have a doctor. Okay. So that's under production? Probably life. Yep. An herbalist hut where sick villagers come to heal. So the herbalist hut probably takes herbs gathered by the gatherer. I can't quite recall. But I think they gather herbs as well for medicine. And we'll put that next to the market. Now let's put it like this. We'll make a nice little road to it and add some decoration. It'll look nice. Okay, let's go ahead and speed up time. Build a warehouse and assign a warehouseman to that as well. Under storage, we have our warehouse. I think we'll build that over here too, kind of keeping it away from the city, meaning pointing away from the houses. There we go. So that way the marketplace and the herbalist can use things from the warehouse, and the carpenter will connect over there too. Probably build a road along the waterfront as soon as those stones are cleared. Happiness at 80, population at 24, fame at 902. I believe we'll gain more fame by responding to some of those random events that will occur at some point in our village. And we've gotten 3 meals made, so we should have more than just berries being gathered, I think. Oh, it's just fruits and herbs. Okay, I thought they might be able to find some other things too, but I guess not. Hey, our people walk around with torches, or some of them did. Yeah, there we go. Is that a guard? Alright, well, that building will be next. Let's prioritize that. And then we'll do the warehouse afterwards. One at a time, but both need to be built. Haha, look at that. We're already zeroed out again for wood and for timber, so... Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull the emergency... I guess the emergency broadcast system and let everybody know that more wood is needed. Alright, cool. Alright, yeah, Scandinavians know that as the low wood alarm, so if you were Scandinavian, don't worry, that's a false alarm, that's a drill. Okay, so we need to gather all these trees nearby. I'm pulling no more punches. No holds barred. There we go. So we're going to cut down all the trees in the immediate vicinity, but as you can see, they're already regrowing, and it's only been, what, a week now? We started on like day 3, and these here are small trees that are regrowing, so they should be back in no time. Although the problem is, of course, with all these trees being cut nearby, we've got to go further and further now. But wood will always be needed, so we'll go ahead and give the order for that. I'm not sure if the AI is smart enough to prioritize. Every game's a little different. When you've played as many city builders as I have, every game's got its own quirks and things that the people in the city will do differently. Like, for example, building your warehouse before the Herbalist Hut, even though you made the Herbalist Hut a top priority. Oh, I'm so mad. Oh, furious. Or it's fine and not a big deal. Alright, so there's our little warehouse, and there's our little herbalist. I'm assuming the herbalist needs to be intelligent, so let's hire somebody there for that. Alright, cool. Everything should be done on that. And now we're going to make some bread, so it's time to do some farming. And we have to do research. Yeah, one thing that I had forgotten to mention, and forgot completely that was in this game, is the Tree of Life down here. And this allows us to eventually get more and more upgrades for our city by researching things like more efficiency. It's kind of hard to see. It is really blocked out, but you can actually see the Tree of Life there. And at the very bottom, we start down here where we can increase productivity and such. I'm going to make decisions based on the fact that we're only going to be playing for a short time, unfortunately. But let's go with something like, well, we have to go for transition to settled life, and that'll give us such things as the granaries for barley and wheat, the windmill, brewery, and the fields. So we'll go for that. Now we have 7 Tree of Life points, so we'll go with probably faster working conditions. That'll benefit us a little bit. And happiness, too. That'll keep them moving. Alright, crops in the field will grow faster. Let's go with that. And crop durability increase. Good. And warehouses provide 10% more space. Villagers work faster in the field. That'll be a good one. And then we'll go towards mining. So we'll be able to mine iron or coal, stone pit, and stone cutter as well to be able to make that dressed stone, as they call it. Alright, we'll save up more points for later. Alright, not bad. Let's go ahead and build a field now. I like how field building in this game works. It reminds me a bit of how it does in Ostriv, which is a Slavic, more of a Ukraine city builder. It's literally based in 1700s Ukraine. And that is a really great independent game that you should definitely check out in addition to this one that allows you to do a lot with farming. Now, this game's a little less hands-on for that, so if you're not really wanting to worry about the things like fertilization, crop rotation, and animals being able to plow the field, such as having oxen come out to plow the field, this is all done by hand, so it's kind of hands-off in a way that way. But I like how the farming works. So here in the demonstration video, which this is great that they put this in, by the way, rather than having a TLDR wall of text, It essentially is a short, almost like a GIF that you could watch, and within like 10 seconds, boom, you understand completely how it works, that the farm needs to be fully connected, and there's more details at the bottom. So kudos to the devs for putting in some very short and sweet explanations for that. In fact, I think this game could definitely benefit to have a tutorial that is, well, I was going to say separate, but honestly, I like when developers put tutorials into the main base game where it then goes into sandbox mode afterwards, where instead of it being like, thus completes the tutorial, then you click OK and go back to the menu, it is nice to have the tutorial integrated with your actual city building. A lot of games are like that too. If you think about it, City Skylines still does that as well, where each time you play City Skylines, the same prerequisites are required before you build something else, limited by your population. Now, there's mods around that, but that's to help people at the beginning to understand what to do. All right, well, let's go ahead and begin a farm field. I don't want to build it too close to the Herbalist Hut there because that could impede their productivity. But I think maybe up here would be a good spot to farm, just behind the just behind the houses here. Let's go ahead and build it like this. I'm not sure how big we can make the farm, so we'll just go for kind of a... Let's go for an odd shape. Make it a little different. Oh, there we go. The area will be too big if we build it any bigger than that, I think. But, yeah, kind of cool that we can make not square fields, which, again, is great because then we can build into narrow areas. Well, like if, for example, we built it up here, we could have built kind of like a diagonal to make maximum use of the space that we've got. Okay, we need to hire somebody for farming. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm not sure if we need more than one. We'll do 2 farmers and see how that goes. And we also need to pick a crop type, so I think we can do that here. Yes, okay. So we want to grow wheat first, probably, to make that bread. We could do barley, but I think that's mostly for beer. All right, let's also build a well, and that would be a good thing to put inside the town. So under food is water of the well, and a good benefit if you put that connecting to as many homes as possible. We'll put that like right here just to connect to the houses as best we can. And considering that we put the well there, it might be a good idea to build some more homes here closer to the shoreline. Now eventually we will build a fishing dock and such, but we'll have to wait for that to be complete. We need to order wheat production. I thought we did that. There's no active farmers. Oh, I had to click the plant button afterwards. All right, so remember, select your plant type and then click plant too. Okay, got it. All right, the well will be completed shortly. We need to build a granary and a windmill and produce bread. Cool, let's do it. So let's go for the... That's probably under production. Ah, there's a brewery as well under the same tier. All right, let's build our little mill back here. I like that we're building it a little bit higher up. I want it to look realistic, but I do not think... In fact, I'm about 99% sure that this game does not take into account elevation for wind speed to increase or decrease productivity of the mill. So you can basically build wherever you want. I think I'll build another field over here later on and kind of keep the mill in the back. But it is kind of cool to put it like here. Somewhere up high. Now, interestingly enough, the windmill will create flour and it also creates bread. So it's a flour mill and a bakery all in one. So it's not going to be much longer until we actually can produce bread. We don't have to wait for multiple buildings to be made. It's kind of nice that way. So the only other thing we need to wait for is granary to be built. And we can put that nearby. By the way, another thing is we're gathering silver. We're gathering silver from the marketplace, from the marketer. Every sale that they make is giving us silver, which that will be used to build our roads, and that increases happiness. And, of course, walking speed of our people. And they'll stick to those roads, too. So you can make a road that's somewhat a little inefficient that goes around certain things, and they'll follow that. Obviously, faster for people to cut through these buildings than they will if they need to, if they're cutting down trees. But wow, look at that. We still barely have wood, even though we clear-cutted everything. Oh, man. Well, hopefully these Viking raids will bring back other things like wood and whatnot. Maybe we'll be able to choose what the Viking raids prioritize, but it's been a while since I've gone out on a good old raid, so I can't recall. But it would be cool to be able to bring back some of the things like armor and weapons from those raids, tools, for example. Alright, let's speed up a little bit more time here. And we'll wait for that building to get constructed, and we'll probably put a storage area next to it. It would make sense to put that nearby. So storage, wheat, and we'll probably build it right here. Actually, I like how the ladder faces this way. And I'll build a little bit away from the road, because the road nodes seem to have a little bit of space before they snap into place. We'll just kind of be able to snap here and then make a road this way, and then another big old farm field here. I wonder if we can assign more people to farming. Let's do 4. 4 laborers, 6 builders. Seems about right. Nope, somebody's unhappy. Well, hopefully we can get you some homes and stuff. Ah, here we are. Have more than 8 houses in your village and have 40 villagers. Cool. So now we've got 24. So special events will start coming in to increase our population to somewhere around like the mid-30s, and then another one should happen. The fastest way to gather population will be whenever events pop up on the screen. I hope one happens soon. Oh, there it is. Wow, how convenient. Newcomers will arrive to your village. Good, let's let them join. Now, of course, there'll be negative and positive for this, too. So if you do this, there might be more problems between the new people and the already here settlers. But if you don't do it, you'll lose some fame. And fame is important for that research on the life tree. Let's see where we're at here. We still have 1 point remaining. We'll come back here a little later. Maybe. Alright, so now we went from 24 to 28. So only 4 people moved in. Not too bad. And it looks like more food is needed. Now we can build a hunter's hut too, but we'll do exactly what they say in that order. And right now, there are seasons in the game too, so we've started in spring. Now that it's yellow, this is summer. So we'll go into autumn soon, but it won't be too much longer. Alright, let's add some more houses. Now, I don't see an option to upgrade homes in this game. In other words, I don't think we can take a poor house and then upgrade it to a nicer house without demolishing it first. Go ahead and add 2 of those. And we saw a little silver sale inside the marketplace. Someone went and bought some good old food. Yeah, we're going to need a lot more of that as well. I'm going to try to place some of the other buildings while we wait for other things to be constructed, like the homes. Interestingly enough, food is not... or fishing is not under food. There's a chicken coop, though. Oh, it's under C. Okay. Well, that would make sense. I could see it under both tabs, really. Alright. On the higher speed, I see a little jankier movement from a further distance, but I think that's just kind of from the icons. Yeah, it gets a little stuttery, but that just seems to be the person's icon when we zoom in. It's nice and smooth again. Not bad. Okay, let's see. The windmill needs to be complete, and then we need to assign a miller and make our first bread, and then it's just homes, 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 which means food, food, food. The bread will certainly be a massive help to that, but also fish. We must be in Norway. Bread, fish, fruits? Yeah, must be Norway. Norway, bruh. Yes, yes, bruh. Knowing the game is half the battle, kids. The more you know. Well, there's our windmill. Looks like we need to connect over there, so let's go ahead and make a little road this way over to the next wheat field or farm. Make a little road that maybe curves. There we go. Looks like the roads will auto-curve so long as you're close enough. And let's assign a miller, assuming that'll take strength, and indeed it does. We'll have one person work on that as we're still building a lot of homes. And the fishing dock, too. So yeah, still complaints about food, but food is coming in. It's a little light right now. But that windmill, that's going to change everything, my man. And also, the miller doesn't only just make the flour, but yeah, also the flour into bread. So that's good. Or, well, I guess it's just grain becomes bread because this wheel spins. There's no such thing as flour, apparently. I guess we don't have to store it or anything. We just have to store the grain. It looks like this is almost ready to go. ready to harvest here when this bar completely fills up. Crops ready to be harvested, but that's contradictory to what this says. I wonder if waiting would provide more food. Like if it would mature more, if that would allow us to get a much greater harvest? Not entirely sure, but that would be something I'd like to know a little bit more about. We should have 4 workers here. I only see 3. Active. Somebody else must be sleeping. Alright, well there you go. So it looks like crops are being harvested and possibly being replanted. You can also grow and harvest wheat multiple times throughout the year. It is not something that you can harvest in, I forget how it is, late autumn. I think you can plant wheat late spring, early summer, and harvest it almost into the early winter, I believe. I can't recall, but in this game, it doesn't matter. You can harvest and plant pretty much year-round except for winter. So you can make a multitude of different types of waves of bread, constantly using that mill. All right, I'm assuming fishing is intelligence, and indeed it is. And we'll have our person go get some fishing boats. So we can have somebody fishing on the dock, and then we can have somebody using the boats, too. And there they go. Cool. So we reclaimed the fishing boats from over here. We now have 3 fishermen. We have like 4 people in the wheat fields. We have a miller. And we have our 2 herbalists. A lot of things being put towards food, and it looks like we've got it. So now it just comes down to homes. And then we're just waiting for the first bread to be made from whenever the baker gets done with it. Alright, a little bit more. Okay. So let's see. They say at least 8 houses. Well, we have 2, 4, 6, 8. Excellent. Bread production completed. They want us to start wool production now. So now we can start making clothing. And that's going to sell for a lot of money. And that's going to be all the time we have for today, unfortunately. I hate to cut it off so early, I know. But Land of the Vikings will have some more demos soon. And we'll definitely play the full game when there's more development to this. Very promising. And very good steps forward from the dev team, taking a lot of what they've seen people give feedback to and applying it to their game as they continue development. Let me know what you think about the game down below in the comments section. What do you like? What do you think they could improve? What do you want to see added? And I will see you all soon. Thanks again, everybody, for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for leaving a like on the way out. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And thank you, as always, for watching, folks. The demo will be available again on Steam, and when you're watching this, it probably is not available at the moment, but I hope to see more of this game, and thank you for watching.